So welcome everyone to our second workshop for as part of the Design for Change 2026 competition. Of course, I'm going to hand it to Oli shortly. He's one of our wonderful Adobe coaches who is going to cover the Adobe Figma. But I'm here to just present a short slides for introducing the Design for Change if this is new to you. So you're welcome to take this QR code, which will take you to the YouTube channel where you see all these 4-minute videos of the previous winners of Design for Change competition. What is the Design for Change competition? Is an annual competition where our students are investing their time and they're working with for example, internship or industry link projects, or part of their projects across different disciplines are welcome to join us for this competition here from Swinburne in Australia and Sarawak students. This is an opportunity for you if you are willing to be recognized, and beyond the great mark you get from your assignment, if you're interested to share and get a permission to us to use your 4-minute video of your design idea to a challenge which has an impact, and in a format of pitch presentation. It's like you consider, okay, this is my design solution to a challenge and I want to pitch it to the investors. So this 4-minute video is a storytelling that you are going to offer that. And of course, we would love to hear about a challenge, solution, and impact. These are the three main areas, but it's all coming with your innovative idea of storytelling to tell us about your design solution. So, of course, we have a vision and we want to, the Shaping STEM Future program, which this competition is one of them, is offering these opportunities for us to shape the STEM, to shape a better world to live in. So, of course, that comes across different disciplines to contribute and unpack the challenges. So, and of course, we are working with the industry partner and the Insurance Australia group. They also have a vision to make a world a safer place to live. And of course, we also want to target anything that inspire women and girls into the STEM area. So these are our three visions, but behind this, you can target anything that everything it comes to work aligned with our vision, which is shaping a world a better place to live. So of course, similar to any other competitions, the judging criteria is clear. So you're going to create a 4-minute video which is based on the STEM content. So you're talking about you're providing the evidences to provide the significance to the study, the research, the challenge, to define the challenge, and of course how your solution in compared to the existing solution is going to be more coming with the advantages. So what is the impact of your solution? So your 4-minute video, it has to be clear with if you are pitching this to investors, so it comes with something evidence wise that they are interested to hear in that 4-minute video. And the way that you deliver that is coming to be considered for our judging panel, which is coming to the end of this series of the workshop. So we already covered the Agile workshop in week 2. Oli is going to cover the Adobe Figma today, which is coming shortly. And the next Adobe training will be focused on Express video production. These are all introduce and define for the beginners. Of course, Oli is going to explain there are ways to be in contact with the Adobe coaches and the our Adobe team for any more training or advanced training. So this is just the beginning, but we make sure that we, during this journey with us for Design for Change competition, you are going to be looked after. And of course, the last one is coming with the startup pitch presentation, which again, similar to the first workshop for Agile, I've tried to reach out to our existed industry partners that they are amazing to cover this type of pitch presentation, how you can come up with the storytelling with your to reach out to investors for your design solution. If you're interested, the essential part is your video, 4-minute video, and that needs to be submitted to me by 1st of June. So this 4-minute startup video on your design solution is going to then, if it's selected as a finalist, is going to be showcased on Thursday, 4th of June in an online setting. Again, this is our Sarawak students and our Swinburne students are welcome. Why you're doing this? Again, behind your assignment, you are going to be recognized, you're going to be awarded. The story of success is going to be published for you, and it's coming with a judging choice for $400. It could be a group or an individual submission, and the certificate of participation is going to be given to you, and a credit as part of employability award is going to be handed to you. So this is my contact email address if you're interested, and if you have a concern that I didn't answer in this very brief presentation, please reach out to us. We would love to support you, and we would love to receive your 4-minute video. With this, I would like to stop sharing and hand it to Oli, who is going to cover Adobe Figma.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Beta. I'm just going to start sharing my screen. So welcome to the Adobe Hub Figma workshop. My name's Ollie. I'm a second-year games and interactivity student who also studies at Swinburne. Basically, the overview that we're going to be doing for Figma is a prototyping tool like Adobe XD, which is free for individuals, collaborative, fast, and has a mobile companion app as well. Using your Swinburne student email, you're eligible to apply for Figma's education plan, which gives you access to more advanced features, which we'll go through very briefly in this workshop. So I'm going to start with an acknowledgement to country as well. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and pay my respects to elders past, present, and emerging. On the agenda today, we're going to be doing a brief introduction and overview into Figma, looking at the tools within Figma itself, and we're going to be focusing mainly on, once we've worked with our tools, creating buttons and prototyping, which is an amazing asset of Figma for web and mobile UI design. So we'll get into that very soon. I'm just going to stop sharing this screen for now, and then we're going to jump over to my Figma Chrome. Alrighty, wonderful. I hope everyone can see my screen now. Awesome. So we're going to start by heading to figma.com. Apologies, figma.com. Once you're in figma.com, it'll ask you to sign up. I'm currently already signed in. But basically, you're able to register with your student Swinburne email, similar to all the Adobe products. You sign up in using your Swinburne email, but for Figma, you actually need to register. Now, when doing your application process, there is an education application that you can enter your details in, and that way you actually get some of the pro features and the professional paid features within Figma for free as you're a student with Swinburne. So once you've started registering, we can get you in. So I'm going to give everyone 1 minute to start registering with their student email. You don't need to apply for the education plan right now. Something great about Figma is that once you click on the education plan, you can exit out and start using the free version. They will email you to remind you that you can reapply for that education plan. So I'll just make sure that everyone has logged into their Figma accounts, and then we're going to briefly cover the tools within Figma itself. Alrighty, so by now I hope that everyone's in. I do believe that you don't necessarily need an account. You can play around with it. So feel free to either watch along, or you can also play around while you're watching me as well. But I'm just going to take you, this is the home page. So up here, you've got your profile, recents. On the left panel here, you have all your files that you can access. On the top right here, you have all the different selections of things you can create. So you have design, you have FigJam, which is another application within Figma, slides like PowerPoint slides, make. So there's a lot of different tools here. Today, we're going to be focusing on design, and more than likely, you'll be using design for this competition as well, for the Design for Change competition. You can see I've got my student number here, and it says my team. Now, something great about Figma, it's great for collaborative work and team-based work. So when I click on here, I can see my team, I can create a new team. I'm on the free plan, so currently I believe you can have up to 3 teams, but that changes once you sign up with your education account. As you can see here, I've got some drafts. I currently have no drafts, and I'll explain that process soon. But this is where whenever you start a new project, you would find that there. Down here, you have all projects. I have a file called Team Projects. Once I double click into that, you can see I've been working on something here as well.
Ollie, sorry to disturb you.
Of course.
Can I ask you to make it a bit larger, because I can
Oh,
read,
of course. Yeah, no worries.
yeah,
Is that a bit better?
much better, because
awesome.
I cannot see the
Oh, no, of course.
wording.
Yeah, I've got an ultra wide monitor, so it's quite large.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Awesome. No, of course. So once we're in the drafts on the left tab here, you can see I have none there. Projects, you double click and you can see some of my projects are here as well. So, and then we've got some resources. As you can see here, there's a button asking me to upgrade to professional. So once you sign up with your education email, you'll be able to access some of these professional resources. And I've got trash here. This is anything that you delete from your trash. So you can see that I've deleted the base packs that they've given me just to tidy up my workspace. Down here, you've also got access to your team projects. Now, we're going to look at the community tab. Now, this is an amazing spot for templates. Now, if you're needing to generate ideas or just needing to see what other people are publishing, this is where people publish their work. All of this is licensed under the Creative Commons unless it's marked as paid, and can be used or adapted freely. So feel free to click into one of these templates and start editing them if that's something you're after, if you like a specific design of something. For now, I'm going to click over to drafts, and I'm going to open a new design tab. That opens the Figma workspace. So now that we're in the Figma workspace, over here, we have our files and our assets and the name of our file as well. So I'm just going to change that, and I'm going to type Figma Workshop. This is changing the name of my file. You can see it's currently listed as a draft, and I'm on the free plan. Here you have pages. You can have multiple pages. I believe up to 3 on the free plan. 3 on the free plan. That's a bit of a tongue twister. Right now, I'm going to write in wireframe and final UI. Now, this is great for organizing your within your draft. You can organize different panels by having, your messy wireframe that's got stuff going all over the shop, and then you can have your final UI where you're putting all your components and all your lettering and your text and making it look nice. So within our wireframe, you can see down the bottom, we have all our tools. We have select, frame, rectangle, pen, text, comments, and actions. The Move tool allows you to move the frame. So if, for example, I click on this frame here, on the right side, this is the properties panel. So whenever you select a new tool, you can see the properties change depending on what tool you're using. For now, we're going to be opening a frame and creating a frame. You can see it gives you so many amazing templates that you don't have to find out the exact resolutions for because they're already provided to you. There's TVs, tablets, phones. For now, I'm just going to create an iPhone 17 frame, and that automatically creates me a white blank frame. Now that we have our frame down, you can hold spacebar, then you can see a little hand pops up, and this allows me to, once I click on the screen, to move. Holding Control and then using the zoom on your mouse, you can then zoom in on your page. So that's just an easy way to navigate it on mouse and keyboard. If you're on a trackpad, similar to other websites, you can just pinch to zoom and expand your screen, and then 2 fingers dragging around on your trackpad moves your frame around as well. But because I'm on mouse and keyboard, I thought it would be best to explain it in case any others are as well. Alrighty, so to use the comment tool is a great way for collaboration. So clicking C, you can leave a comment, and you can see that Ollie has now just said hello. Or for example, if there's a rectangle here, I'm going to click C, and I'm going to ask, can someone remove this, please? And then whenever a teammate adds to this conversation and adds to our Figma workshop, they can see that there, and then they can change it up and remove that. So that's a good way for teams to be able to comment with each other if they're not currently on the live wireframe together. So just going back to our blank screen, creating frames using the F key, you can create your own frames. You don't have to use a default frame or a preset. So I just click the F key and you can see that I can create my own frame. And so I've made a smaller frame just next to that one.
اینکه این اتفاق بیفته در روزهای آینده و این تجدید تنش یه جوری خودش در واقع بازدارندگی ایجاد میکنه و دید توی چند روزه که آیا
Hi Amita, sorry your microphone is currently on. If you could just mute yourself, that would be appreciated. Thank you, I appreciate that. Alrighty, another great tool to duplicate any process that you have or any tools or shapes. I'm going to create a square or a rectangle, and then if I hold Alt and click and drag, that's going to create an exact copy of the same shape that we've done. So that's a great way of just, rather than having to right click, copy and paste, just holding Alt, clicking on and dragging will create the exact same product that you've already done. Awesome. So you can rename your frames as well. Just by double clicking at the top, you can see that over here, this symbol is our frame. So you can either double click on here or also double click here, and I'm going to call this workspace. Now that I've got my workspace down and renamed it, you can see that I've got layers on my files here. So I've got 3 rectangles. Now, similar to Photoshop and other applications, it works similarly in that whatever layer is on the topmost will sit in front. So if I make this gray rectangle a beautiful red color, over on the right side, you can see I edited that by clicking on the rectangle. Then I have all the properties here on the right side of my rectangle. So I can change the dimensions by clicking and dragging on these buttons here. I can change the opacity. I can change the color. I can, another great function is the corner radius. So you can make things bubbly and unique. So once I've done that here, you can see that rectangle 1 is at the bottom, so it's going to hide behind both other shapes. If I drag it on top but not above my workspace, then you can see now that is above both of those. So that is how layers function. Moving on to the next tool, we have clicking R takes you to the rectangle, R for rectangle. O is for circle, but for now, we're just going to create another rectangle. By clicking and dragging, you create that rectangle there. Again, over on the right, you have all your properties. Clicking O will create a circle. You can see I'm struggling to get a perfect circle. So if I start again, now you can see that disappeared. I just click Control Z to undo. If I click on my circle tool, hold down Shift and click and drag, it's going to make a perfect circle. So that's a great way if I want to make a perfect rectangle as well. Perfect square as well. Using the rectangle tool, if I hold down Shift, you can see that I have now created a perfect square. So holding Shift while clicking and dragging when making a shape makes the dimensions equal on both sides, or a perfect circle or a perfect square. And as I've already told you, holding Alt, you can see that it'll copy the properties as well. So I've got this red oval. If I hold Alt and drag on that tool, then it's going to duplicate with the exact same properties over here. So you can see that the corner radius is the same at 56, and it's got the same color as well. So we've got a bit of mess on our screen. I'm just going to delete some of this. And by using the alignment tool over on the right, you can see that, and if I click on one of our properties, there's some options here to align within the frame. So if I want it to be centered, I can click that and it's going to automatically center it. For example, you can align it to the left, the right, up, center, or the bottom again. So that's a great way of finding the exact center rather than having to play around and guess. You can use the alignment tool to figure out that yourself. Selecting T is just a shortcut to find the text tool. Otherwise, you can find its way down here. I'm going to zoom in by holding down Control and zooming in. But you can see I can click and drag, and now I've created a text box, and I'm going to write hello. So that way, I've now just created a text file. I'm going to highlight the font, and you can see it's opened up a new properties tab relating to font and text. Down in typography, I can play with the size, and you can see hovering over it moves in real time. I think I like the size 36, so I'm going to be happy with that there. You can change the font as well. We're going to change it to inner serif, and here you can play with the italics as well. Once I've got that down, just clicking on the move tool just down here or on the side of the screen will let go, and you won't interrupt any of the typing that you've currently done. Now again, if I select my text tool and I hold down Shift and select this oval as well, now I've got both selected. You can see both on the left side, hello, and my rectangle, so my text and my shape are now highlighted, and I can use the alignment tool to then find the best way to align that within those two objects. So I've clicked center, but it's not found the center. So clicking and dragging the frame of the text box will help me change that. So just clicking until it's perfect. Now, if I do that again, you can see it's going to pop it in the center. So Shift and Control are usually your best friends when navigating things like Figma and also Photoshop, as well as Alt. So there are some amazing shortcuts to help speed up some of the processes that you do. So that's just one of them, using Shift and click to select multiple products or shapes. Alrighty. So now that we've done that, we can actually start on the buttons. So this is the major component of Figma, and one of the best parts about Figma is that you can make a working UI or a working app or mobile UI within Figma. So if I just zoom out for a second, I'm going to delete this frame here. I'm going to just move over for now, and I'm just going to create a new frame. I'm going to create another iPhone 17 frame and just move it next to it. So I'm really happy with my button, my shape here. Now we're going to create a button. So I've got my shape, I've got my text. I'm going to highlight both, right click, and we're going to create what's called a component. So just down here, I'm going to click Create Component. Now you can see it's now got a purple text box over in my workspace. It's got this new purple font with component 1. If I click the drop-down menu, you can see it's now got my shape and my text there as well. Now, with components, these are the live working components that allow you to make buttons and use interactable processes to help you create your mobile UI or your desktop website. So now that I've got that selected, I can see over here now you have to hold your mouse over them to be able to read what they are, but you can see we've got matching layers, variants, configurations, and more actions. We're going to do what's called creating a variant. Now that I've got a component, I'm selecting my component, but it's just by clicking and dragging. You can see it's highlighted. I'm going to go over to component 1 and create a variant. Now you can see it's created a purple frame around and I've got another copy of my component. That's perfect. That's what we want. Over here, you can double click to change the name, but that's not what we want to do because it messes up the sort of the code. What you want to do is if you want to be able to organize your shapes, you want to look over to, if I click on this variant over here under property 1, you can double click this section and I'm going to write hover as we're going to be creating a hover function for our button. So now you can see we've been able to organize that there. I'm going to move my default above it and you can see now that we've got that organized. Organization helps just for the workflow. Now that I've got hover and my default, what we're going to do is we're going to move from our design page to our prototype page. This now will allow us to start seeing and creating connections and functions for these, for our button that we're going to be making. I'm going to stop right here, and just in case anyone has any questions right now, feel free to type them in the chat. I'll just wait 30 seconds just for you to do that.
Can I ask a question?
Of course, yeah, go for it.
Would you be able to show a wireframe for a website? Because these are very abstract, so
Yes.
that would be more helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, so currently within this beginner workshop, I'm going to show you the tools on how to make a wireframe for a website. Another thing you can do is by clicking and going back to files, when signing and creating an account, they actually, as you can see, I've deleted them just for my own personal preference, but they actually have the Figma basics for you there. And there's also another community tab for you to be able to access these resources as well. So just for this workshop, I'm going through how to make buttons, as this will be more hands-on for when you select your template, you're going to need to know how to edit it as well. So for something like a website wireframe, again, when you sign up, you'll be given templates to play around with and see how they function. But there's also this community tab for you to look at and play around with as well. So just for now, we're just going to be focusing on just that draft that we're currently working on. But yes, I will remind you, when you do log in, you have access to templates there to look at wireframes as well. So feel free to do that in your own time. Alrighty.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no worries at all. Once we've got that here now, what we're going to do is we've now created our component. We're in the prototype tab. We're going to now we've created our variant. We have a default and a hover. What we're going to do is we're going to change the color of our hover. So just over here, I'm clicking the drop down. I'm going now to my hover and I'm going to click that drop down as well. I'm going to click on rectangle and now that takes me to our properties. I'm going to make this a darker red. And with hello, I'm just going to keep that there as well. With that, what we can do is now that we're in our prototype page, we can now click on the default page. Perfect. So now you can see that I've clicked on my original button. So I've clicked on the default button. When I hover over on the frame, you can see there's a blue plus. I'm going to click and drag on this blue plus and you can see it creates what's called a node. This node allows me to select different properties within my wireframe. What we're going to do is we're going to take this original default button, we're going to take our node, and all we're going to do is, as you can see, it starts selecting that and we're going to let go. Now it gives us the option to start creating our button. So for this example, trigger, we're going to click on while hovering, as we're going to make a hovering function for this. Action, we're going to change it to our property one hover. So when we hover, this button is saying, as I'm hovering over this default, it's going to change to our hover, which we just created as the darker color. Animation, you can make it instant, you can make it dissolve. All we're going to do is click Smart Animate, and we're going to leave it as that. Now that we've got that done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this, I'm going to move it off to the side. What this does is that whenever you click the preview button or the present button only shows you what is on your frames. So currently on this workspace frame, we have nothing. Now, another good thing is in your assets, you have created in this file, we have made our component. So you can see we've got our component here. Component one are the properties entirely within this. So it has our original default button and our variant. Once I drag it into my new frame, you can see it's only got my hello button. This is something I also found out. This way is how you preview how your button functions. So make sure that once you've created your component, you're dragging it off of the wireframe, off of the workspace within the frame, and you can have it sitting within here. That is completely fine. That is how that functions. So you can see, you can move it wherever, you can enlarge it, but you can see it's not on our frame. So now I'll show you, if I click on the preview button, it's going to open a new website or a new screen, sorry. Can I just see, I'm just wondering if I'm sharing the correct screen. Can everyone currently see the mobile phone on my screen?
Yes.
Yes, awesome. Thank you very much. So you can see now that it's going to give you a preview of what the iPhone looks like, which is another great feature of Figma. As I go to hover over it now, you can see that there's an animation of hovering over on that button. So that's how to create just sort of an animation if you're doing something like an add to cart button on a phone or a desktop, or other instances that you might need that. Now we're going to click on this, our original component. I'm just going to move us over and center us. And just by clicking this button, it's going to create another new variant. With this, I'm now going to create a new node that from here, we're going to create the new node, go down to the other one. We're going to go on tap, and we're going to actually change it to, apologies. We're going to go on tap, change to, and then you can see variant 3. So we've got our new variant, which I haven't renamed just yet. So I will go back to design. We're going to call it click. So we're going to change it to a click now. So hopefully now that's changed. Awesome. So just again, remember to go back to your prototyping to play with your nodes. And now that on tap, we're going to change it to that. So we've got our component here. You can see that now. Oh, I guess I should change the color just so we can see how that functions as well. So give me one moment. We're just going to change it to a bright pink. So now clicking on the preview button again, you can see that as we hover over, and if I click it, it's going to do that animation and click over to a pink one as well. So that's how to do hovering, clicking, and now I'll show you how to change from, so say this was a welcome page for my design studio and I wanted to have a button that takes you to my portfolio. What we can do here is with this button here, I'm now going to change this to portfolio. You can see that I just need to change the font as well and the sizing of it all. Oops. Oops. Alrighty, so we've got portfolio here. I'm going to align it so it sort of makes sense. All right, now that we've got the portfolio here, button, what we can do is, again, in prototype, if I go over to my other, sorry, I'm just playing around with this now. If I go over to my other frame, you can see that it's blank. So I'm going to create another new rectangle. And just for example, we're just going to leave it blank just to show you that it's going to change. So we're going to do a color there. Once I click over to this prototype button, I can actually have this button change over, click the node and bring it over to the entire frame. On tap, the action is going to navigate to iPhone 17.1, or what we could rename it as is our portfolio. So just for example, now that I've done that, if I go over to our preview, hovering over, clicks on the portfolio. If I click it again, you can see it's now taken us to a new page. So that is how one way to be able to take your customers or your clients to a new page. So for example, if you had a portfolio or if you had a menu on a food website, then this would be a way to take you to that new space. So that is how that functions. There's a lot of different things you can play around with these nodes. As you can see, there's on drag, while hovering, while pressing. While pressing would be, for example, if we changed this node to while pressing, change to click, then you can see as we hover over our button, as I'm pressing it down, that pops up as portfolio and then it's going to change. So it sort of is another way. So there are a lot of different tools that you can play around with when creating your buttons and playing with these tools. This is a great way to create any mobile UIs or desktop apps. So feel free to utilize any templates as well. There are some great tools and tasks. If you make your way to the Swinburne Digital Literacy Hub, we do have what's called an Adobe Hub Canvas shell. Now, what this Canvas shell has is resources built in for you to be able to learn these apps as well. So we have from Photoshop to Illustrator, we also have Figma as well. So there are going to be resources there for you for free to be able to access. I do recommend watching YouTube videos as well. They're a great tool to be able to learn the basics of Figma. But that's effectively what we've run through today, is how to create a button, the components, what a variable is, and the instances on your workshop. Working within frames to be able to change from other frames and what sort of the basics are. So I'm going to ask if anyone has any more questions now. And if not, what we're going to do is we are going to go back to our files and I'm going to show you how to share a file. So if you're in a team, either individual or four, this is another way to be able to share your file. So you can see I have a draft here. I cannot share a draft with my team members as a draft is only personal to your account. So as I'm in here, if I click share, you can see it comes with a notice to invite people to edit, move this draft into your projects, and it even offers you to do that. So you need to make sure that your draft is within your project page to be able to invite anyone to this canvas. You can see here clearly who has access to this Figma workshop or my design page here. So if I added anyone's email to it and they accepted, you would be able to see who's available and who can work on your page. Now, multiple people can be on the page at once, similar to Google Docs or Google Spreadsheets. So I'm going to click Move File. I'm going to move it to my team projects and click Move here. Now that it is moved, you can see that I can email it either to myself, that's my personal email, and then I would pop up down here as an editor. You can also click on anyone and you can change if you just want them to view it or to edit it. So if you're submitting this and you're submitting a link or needing to provide your tutor access, you can have just view rather than edit. Or if you're wanting to get feedback, you can click edit and then the tutor can leave comments on it as well. So that is one amazing way to be able to work on a Figma project collaboratively, especially for the Design for Change workshop. So if you happen to be working in a group, definitely keep that in mind, that your drafts need to be saved as a project in your files to be able to share it and access it with other members within your team. I think that's currently what we have for now. I'm just going to double check my notes to see if I've missed anything. But I think that's roughly what we were going to run through for this workshop. Yeah.
Ollie, I just want to, because Amrita was here, one of the conveners of the unit who then need to work with the website. I think from her comment, do we have anything more? I know that we targeted this to be a step-by-step instruction for beginners, but I am going to share this recording with her for what they need to do in their assignments in that unit. So if you have any advanced knowledge that can be useful for our students, please yes, I think she said, like, it would be great if we can start with how to create or modify a simple wireframe, then go over the most frequently used actions. So something that she provide as a feedback, if you can consider.
So I've got this the Figma Basics file here, which when you sign up, you have access to this Figma Basics files, which is good as it just allows you to play around. So effectively here for a website wireframe, this is what one would look like. So you've got your product page, shopping page, you've got sort of basket, my profile. These are all tools that you can change around with and actions that you can change around with. On the left here, you have all the layers. So just make sure that when you're using the prototype page, that you're selecting the right layer. So when you start playing with the nodes on the prototype page, it can look very messy, but don't worry. That's just part of Figma is trying to work through the organization of it all. So effectively here, you can see we've got like a shopping cart website. So if we go just move across, you can see that we've also got sort of a product page. With this is another way. I will go through some of the more basic actions. It will be sort of rehashing what I've gone over, but we can do it in the sense of a desktop web design. So if I go over to, if I just click on this frame just here, our shopping cart, then if I now create this shopping cart as a variable, go back to my design, create a component. So remember that once you've created either a button or sort of any other visuals or graphics for your website, you want to create them as components to be able to edit them and prototype them to actually start making a fully functional website. So we're going to create a component there. We're just going to select everything for now. Usually you would just select something like basket or continue to payment. But in this instance, we might actually zoom in and we'll click this, if I can select it properly, shopping cart. Oh, that's one together. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll just click this for now. We'll click component. Now we want this component to take us to this website. So let's say if we were able to click on the continue to payment, as I clicked on continue to payment, if you were to imagine that this product page was your purchase page where they would have to fill in their details for any payments, you would have on click, navigate to, and product page. So on click and navigate to are some of the more common actions that you'll need for a website. So while hovering is something more of an aesthetically pleasing thing that you can add. So as your mouse hovers over, it might change color, the text might change. Whereas on-click is one of the basic ones that if you want to get your point across for what your website is, then using on-click and navigate to will be the easiest way to do that. So if I click the continue to payment, it's going to navigate us to the product page, or in this instance, we would call it the purchase page. I'm going to have the animation this time be instant. Again, if we take us into the preview page, you'll be able to see your website comes up. So you can see I've got a clickable button. You can see my mouse is changing from the regular cursor to the click button. If I click that, it's going to take us to that new page. So that's one of the tools available when doing web design, is that you'll most likely be needing to use that sort of node or that sort of interaction is what I should call it. So I think in that case, that's the best place to play around on is a website wireframe like this one. So you'll be able to edit all these different tools up here as well. Within there, you can see that there's sort of all the continue to payment buttons. There's a summary you can see down here. Remember, just when trying to select something, clicking the drop-down tool and clicking specifically on what you want, you can see it's highlighting everything now. So that's the best way to access some of the tools when editing them. If you're just playing around with some templates, is if I didn't want a newsstand, I can double click on that and I can change that to maybe just news or something like that. So yes, you can edit the templates. Make sure you play around with them as well. Make sure you play around with them as well. And yeah, there are definitely lots of tools and some of the basic interactions that you can use when creating a website. But ones you'll mainly be focusing on is on-click and navigate to, and you'll just use the interactions to navigate to your different pages for what you've created. I think that's what I would brief them on if they were to do a website, just by the way, Vita.
Thank you so much, Ollie.
No worries.
Maybe for the last comments, if you're a student in a different unit with the assignment, which is linked to what we covered today with the Adobe Figma, that was just the instruction for beginners and some touch points on what you could do. But the rest, it comes to how you are going to communicate with our wonderful Adobe coaches that they are. If you can please repeat how they can contact you, Oli, that would be great.
Course.
And that would be the last part of our
Absolutely. Yeah, no worries. So I appreciate everyone watching this beginner tutorial and video. I want to say thank you. So what we're the Adobe Hub. We're on library level 3. What you can do is you can walk in anytime 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday during uni times. And you can just walk in and you can ask us questions. We're right up the stairs. Our desk is right out the front on library level 3. If you're if you're an online student or you're not in that day, feel free to send us an email, adobehub@swin.edu.au. We'll be able to answer your emails there as well. Or if you follow the link provided, sdlhub.org.au, that is the Swinburne Digital Literacy Hub, and you can actually book a workshop with us. When on that page, you can actually book a Figma workshop as well. So if you're needing more advanced knowledge or questions about Figma, then please feel free. You get 30 minutes a session with us during then. You can even extend it if we don't have any bookings beyond that as well. You can type in exactly what you're after and we can help research and work through it with you as well. So you can either book, send us an email, or just walk in. Feel free to do that. We're here to help you learn and help with any Adobe products and Figma as well.
Thank you so much, Olive. Thanks for your time. And
no worries. Appreciate it, Peter.
Thank you. And I think this is going to bring us to the end of this workshop. Again, you're welcome to communicate with us if you're interested beyond your assignment submission and good quality of submission, which is going to present you. I always ask a student to use of this opportunity. So all of these Adobes are, we have our Adobe coaches on board. We have this free application for you to learn and apply and of course deliver the quality of your assignment, but also be recognized behind your assignments with something that we are offering in the Design for Change. And of course, in the live showcase, we will invite some of the judges that they will see your, your product in the format of 4 minutes. So they might be interested in you for something that you would love to do and finding the job in future. So let us to support you by engaging to the Design for Change competition, and good luck. Thank you.